Hello everyone. Oh, there we go. Sorry, got stuck there. My name is Braden Chase and welcome to my podcast here. I am kind of doing everything together in one video tonight, so this one might be just a little bit longer than normal. But I wanted to talk about the power of stories in family, in education, and in business. So there's those three things we're talking about, right? Stories in those three situations. So here in my home, right, I have 4 children, and over the past couple of days, I've had several conversations with my son, and his name is Joseph, and we had this discussion about him not wanting to work. He didn't want to do the work. We really enjoy spending time together. Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. We enjoy spending time together. He wants to spend time with me. I want to spend time with him, and it's very fun, but he doesn't want to work. And I'm like, okay, I'm really busy. So if you want to spend time with me, we kind of have to be working because we've got stuff to do. So we both work together. And he says, no. I'm like, Joseph, come on, we got to do this. So as I'm talking to him about these things, at one point there's a little bit of an argument with him, and I sit down. I'm like, okay, Joseph, we're on our couch that we have in our front room, and it's orange and from the 1970s, and we're talking about things. I'm like, Joseph, these things are important. You need to learn. We talked and talked. And he's like, no, I don't want to work. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do those things. So, but Joseph, you need to do these things. Hi, Sandy. How are you? And you need to do these things, Joseph. And he's like, but I don't want to. I'm like, but you need to. I don't want to, right? I'm like, well, these are rules, and this is life, and these different things. And he's like, no, 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 no. And I stopped for a second, and I thought, let's try these stories. So I told him a story about when I was younger, I wanted to spend some time with my dad. And my dad was also very busy. My dad worked construction a lot. And he had a project. My dad had a project to, hi Lloyd, build a patio in our backyard. And patio with concrete and wood and benches, and it was a huge project. And I did not want to do that because it was summer and it was hot and it was hard work. And we got the truck and the shovels and we're throwing things, and it's a lot of work. So I'm there and I'm talking with my dad, and I'm shoveling rocks and throwing them across the room and picking them up and putting them in the wheelbarrow and stuff. My dad says, Braden, stop. Don't only move the rocks once. Don't shovel things twice. And I remember I was standing on top of the truck. I have this giant, 3 tons of rocks in front of me and a huge pit that I need to fill with these rocks. And I had been picking up the rocks, putting them in the wheelbarrow, and then moving the wheelbarrow and getting the rocks and putting them into the pit. And my dad said, stop. Just grab the shovel, throw them from the truck out into the pit. And I was like, that's a good idea. And it was just like, that's really smart. That makes sense. And it's something that I still remember. That was probably 15 years ago. And that time is time that I remember with my dad. And it was work. And I worked with my dad being there. But working with him helped me have a stronger relationship with him. And it was fun. And I learned cool things because I was with him. Right? If I wasn't there, I wouldn't have learned if I hadn't been there. Hey, Jared. Nice to see you. So that's one of the things, right? Telling stories. And when I told that story to my son, he went, oh, then yeah, work is hard, but then maybe I can learn cool things and I can spend time with my dad. So work can be okay. It doesn't have to be bad all the time. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly right. And it was perfect. It was exactly the story that he needed to hear to help him kind of overcome. And I'd spent 10 minutes explaining, do this, don't do this, do this, don't do that, all these different things. And it just didn't make sense. And then, hey, everybody, lots of people coming on. And I was explaining all of these things to him, and it just didn't make sense to him. And then he goes, hey, after I tell him this story, he goes, oh, I get it. Okay, yeah, now I can do some work. Sweet. So that's kind of how one of the ways we can use stories to help teach our children, right, inside of our family. When there's a principle or an idea that they don't understand and they probably should understand, the moral to the story, right? We use that phrase all the time. Purposefully use a story from your own life to help teach your children the lessons that you know, right? It's a great way to support your family and to help them learn. So that's the first part, right? Using stories to teach your family, using your stories inside of your family. Next step for tonight is talking about using stories to help in education. So I'm a teacher, I teach English, and I've been doing it for a long time. And I've learned over the years that helping my students to understand things in a physical way helps them learn English faster, okay? So, and one of the tools that I do with that is telling them a story. So I remember, I might have actually even told this story to you guys once, but I remember several years ago, I had a student come in and I was her writing teacher, and she's trying to learn how to write an English essay, and English essays are terrible and they're very difficult. And she comes in, she's like, I need some help with this. So we talk for a little bit, and we talk, and she gets more and more frustrated and angry. And I'm like, well, there's, this rule, and you got to do this, and this is how this works. And she starts crying, and she's frustrated, and she's angry, and she's crying. And I can't do this. It's too hard. I don't know how. And all of these very sad. And I'm like, oh dear, what's going on? And I'm like, it's okay, stop. All right, I have an idea. And I told her my story. And told her my story of when I was learning to write essays, which all of you remember, right? Writing essays in high school are terrible. Right? Essays are hard. And how I would spend hours at the computer, and I'm typing and I'm thinking and I'm typing and I'm thinking. And I'm like, okay, I've got it. It's perfect. And I print it off. And I go to put it in my backpack, and my mom comes over and she goes, Braden, you need to let me read that. And I'm like, no, Mom, I've got it. It's perfect. She's like, Braden, let me read it. I'm like, no, I want to stop. It's fine. Don't touch it. Because I wanted to be done. And she goes, no, give it to me. I'm like, okay, Mom. I give it to her. She takes it. And in like minutes, she's like, nope, fix that. Okay. I'm like, darn, more work for me. But then she hands it back to me, and she goes, okay, so this is actually pretty good. Nice job. But you misspelled this. You need a period here. And this needs to change, and this needs to change, and then you're fine. And I look at it, and I'm like, wow. Had I left those things in there, that would be really embarrassing. And I learned from that experience that, hey, I need to show things to other people. Hey, everybody. Lots of people coming on. You need to show things to other people when you're writing an essay. It helps you kind of become more open to what's going on, and you can see the things that you can't see because other people will help you say, that's wrong, fix this, okay? So I tell her this story about you need to let other people see things. You need to do drafts on your essay. And she goes, oh, even native speakers have this problem? I'm like, yes. Even native speakers have to do drafts on their essays, right? Even native speakers get it wrong sometimes. And you need to try again. Hi, Sabrina. Nice to see you. Hi, Kevin. And she's like, oh, I thought native speakers could just sit down and type everything perfectly. And I'm like, no, not even close. We can't. I do draft and draft and draft on all of this. And she goes, oh. And I remember her kind of calming down and thinking. And over the next, probably in 2 semesters or so, she jumped up a level and went up another level and graduated from the school in like 2 semesters. Just because that mental block that she had, thinking everything had to be perfect the first time through. So, but that story is what helped her understand, is what kind of broke through that. Because her teachers had told her repeatedly, you don't need to do it perfect, do your drafts, have someone help you, do peer edits, but it didn't click. The story made it click, right? And that was just, it was a wonderful story. It was a great experience for me. And oh, she might be watching right now. Hi. And it's just fantastic. And I love sharing this story because it's helped a lot of people. And as I become more experienced as a teacher, I learn more stories from my students, and I share them with my new students, and they grow and learn faster, and it's just a wonderful thing. So that was the second part, right? So the first part is using stories to help your children in your family. And the second part is using stories in education, right? So as a teacher, I use stories to help teach my students. But as all of us are also students, right? Watch for the stories that your teachers tell you, right? Think of the stories. What can you learn from what you see going on around you, right? And process those as stories, and you'll learn faster. It's very cool. Okay, last bit over here. Using stories in business. Okay, so a lot of people are involved in business in some way, right? They're marketers, they're business owners, they're chiropractors, they're teachers, right? I have my own business, right, where I teach English online. I have a business over here. They're chefs, they're dentists, they're authors, or whatever, right? Lots of different kinds of people involved in business. And using stories inside of business can be used in so many different ways. And one of the ways that's used a lot is in helping people understand what you're trying to do. So one of the classic examples of this is Subway. Subway started as a fast food chain, just like McDonald's or Burger King or whatever, right? Just started, and they worked on things, and they were fairly successful. Then they found this story. The story of, oh, now I forget his name. Doug? Kevin? Whatever. This guy, I forget his name. And he had put himself on a diet. And in his diet, hey, Stephanie, hi. He put himself on a diet and said, okay, for a while, I'm going to eat only Subway. And he lost like 400 pounds eating only Subway. And they're like, whoa, look at this story. And they put him in front of their company and said, hey, this guy ate tons of, or only, right, ate tons and tons of Subway, and he lost 400 pounds. You can do it too. Look at this story. And it changed the company. And they were a profitable company at the beginning, but when they used that story, their company exploded. And they like quadrupled their income. They started moving into other countries, fantastically wealthy with that story. So they used that story to teach to teach their customers, hey, look, our food can be used in this way, and food is good this way. Marketers, when they're, or people who have a course, right? So I have an online course, and I use stories a lot to help new students come in and see how my course can benefit them. Hey, that's what a testimonial is, right? It's a story. Hey, look at this person who was my student. They took my course. They didn't know English before. They took my course, and now they know English. It's great, right? That's the process we go through. And that's a story, a character, a person, and then some kind of a resolution, or there's a conflict and then a resolution of some kind, right? A classic story. So this is the idea I wanted to share with you guys, that stories are useful in so many ways. They're useful in family with helping to teach your children to understand the moral of the story and the moral of life, and to understand rules and the importance of those things. They're helpful in education for teaching students, and as being the student for learning. We're able to learn these new things and improve as we process things inside of stories. It helps us bring these big, huge, abstract concepts into reality through story. And then in business, it helps us tell stories to our customers so that we can bring them in to our business, our product, our course, our thing that we're doing, so that we can help them, right? A lot of people will come to us in a business and be like, I don't like you, I don't like your product. But I'm like, it's not the product, it's what the product can do for you that matters. And the only way they can know how the product can help you is if you tell them a story, right? That's the key to all of these different things. We process things through stories, and lots of other ways, but stories are awesome. Anyway, guys, thank you. It was great to see so many of you on here tonight. And I hope that was helpful for you to process these stories. I hope my stories that I told you were helpful for you guys too. And I will talk to you guys another day. Bye. Oh, wait, down underneath. I get a lot of comments afterwards, and I know that some of my best conversations happen after I turn off the camera, which I'm about to do. So if you have any comments, put them underneath and let's keep the conversation going. It'll be fun. Thanks, guys. Bye.